Well, I thought I'd show where I'm at on this trunk. I got a little work done on today. Well, actually, I got all of these corners cut today, but they are just dry fit right now. You can hear the creak, but this would be a good way to show you when I talked about pins and tails. Now, these are the tails, these are the pins, and I've been working with a jackknife, getting a really good fit on them. I like it so it creaks when it goes together. But now what I have to do, after I get all these where I'm satisfied with the fit on those, I gotta do almost the same thing. On top of this will go another part that goes up to the lid. So I have to make ends here, and then the ends here will have the curve. It probably won't be this high. This is just a kind of an approximation, but I'm maintaining that same angle. But what I may do, now this end piece will come up and then have the curve on it, and when it does the curve part, I may straighten that out, get rid of the angle so this weight bears straight up and down if you should like sit on it or something. But I'm happy with the way that's going. Tight fit. But like I say, this is just a kind of a dry fit to set it on the glass, make sure it sets even on the glass. But once I get this other half, the lid part, then I'll put the actual round lid on, which is sitting over here. I've been keeping these brackets on here to hold it so it doesn't change, but they're really, it's staying at that angle. These are just a kind of a backup. As the temperature or the humidity changes, it tends to shift around a little, but it holds this shape. But that will go on like that. So you can see I've got plenty, but it'll be up another probably 4 inches. But like I say, when I get to this part here, rather than maintaining that same angle, because it's it's angled all 4 ways, this wood bends relatively easy. So when I take these 3/4 inch pieces here, because this is 3/4, this is half, but I maybe will get these wet and then curve that so it meets straight on the trunk top. But then inside, I have to make lift out trays, and the lift out tray part that goes here will be a reinforcement for where the handle goes. I've got her pretty well schemed out, but this worked out surprisingly well. Like I say, when it was wet and I had it on there, I had to watch it because it was still curving. It was curving on its own because it was wet on the outside, dry on the inside. So it wanted to go around. You could actually make a round bucket like that, which would be something to try sometime. But it's amazing how well that glue holds. It's waterproof glue. But the next thing I'll have to do now is on the inside, I have to cut a mortise all the way around for the bottom to go in. And that is this piece that I made up here. But now this, like I say, it's got to be mortised on all 4 sides. And I have to, this is the angle that this whole thing runs at. So I have to square my mortises off, but I can do that on the table saw with a dado blade so that they're not at an angle. Because that's where it gets tricky, where, dealing with all these angles, but that's what I wanted. But, like say, now this top part where this matches up, I'm dealing with odd angles again there. which I will have to square off so that the lid fits down. And then I will mortise out a lip here so that the top part actually steps over this part, so it would be like waterproof. It's working. You know, it's a long-term project, but it works very well. Kind of interesting to do. But the angles, you know, if you're just making a square box or a rectangular box, not that big a deal. When you start working with all these angles and then the curved top, you know, it gets a little complicated, but she's coming together. But like I said, the next thing I'll be mortising in that bottom. And then what I'll have to do, I'll cut all the mortises, then make sure it's square and glue up 2 sides. Then slide the mortised bottom in, close it up, and then put the pin side in the other end. But that's why I have to be really square, because I want this to fit seamlessly. And that glue dries up fast, so there's no screwing around.